This is a dismantled CP200 gang charger. It is made by Motorola, and I'll show you the internals, the guts. This is not a professional video. I just got outside the office because I see more sunlight here and I'm not getting too many shadows. This is not a professional video that you expect from other YouTube users. I'm one of those people who just share what they see, so I don't make fancy videos, but here I'll give you some clues what I do when I get this type of chargers. This is the charger that has two identical boards, so if you want to fix these things, it's much easier, and they are identical pocket chargers on each board, 3. And it's easy when you do troubleshooting. You can measure by impedance, by voltage if you plug it in, and you can compare the dead one against the good pocket. And I just remove the connector so you can see some marks of corrosion. And how the corrosion form in here is when the user brings the radios loaded with water, the water goes through the pocket. I just remove the adapters, and it goes through these holes along the wires and get through the connector, and it make a puddle right here around these connectors, and of course they will cause corrosion. And as you can see, some of those get corrosion because it starts kind of reacting, so, doing some electrolytic process here. And I'll show you, these are clean. I would say these are clean. I cleaned it with a brush, but if you see here, you see some corrosion salts, which I have to take a metal pick and scrape it away. Many times you get PC board trace damage. Some traces or go through holes, get corrosion, and you have to install wires. So one of the common problem is with trace around that 5 volts line here. You would have to install a jumper wire in order to repair that trace. So I will not give you too many details about these ones, because some come with other things, other trouble related to corrosion. Troubles that are not related to corrosion are the power supplies on these things. The power supplies, common failure is some trace damage around this big coil, these chokes, the AC coils, filters, because of the 60 hertz here in the North American continent, buzzing, vibration. You get some not trace damage, but loose connection here, like a cold soldering joint. Maybe I see one. Let me see. Yeah, that is going to survive for longer. But what I do usually, even I have some trace damage here or corrosion or other problems, if I can fix these ones, these boards, then I do some preventative maintenance by scraping some of this paint and resoldering, so extending the solder joint, making larger. Will last much longer. And sometimes I use special, like Japan-made glue. It's similar to this one, but it's a bit softer, and I add extra glue on these coils, and I do that on both power supplies. Even they do work. And once I have the boards cleaned and tested, then I can go to the next step and I apply a conformal coating, like it's a spray bottle that we use, and I apply all this area except the connectors, of course. But before doing that, I apply some goop here, some special sealant around the connector and underneath. Then I push the connector down. That's why you see that I leave the connector a little bit higher. I push the connector down, and even it's going to be glued there, that's okay, because likely I will not get this one returned from the customer with water damage. Once I applied a specialty coating here around these connectors, but at the same time careful not to spray conformal coating on the contacts. I did that mistake before when the conformal coating got into the contacts, and the connector itself, you have to rub it several times, clean up the coating from inside the contact, from inside the connector. So it's not a pleasant job to do. So I learned from that mistake. I have to be careful how I spray the conformal coating here. But while I do that, I have my pocket adapters connectors plugged into the connector, and that would keep that connector, those pins, away from some of the vapors from coating, or even the spray, the coating spray. So that's kind of what I do to extend the lifetime of this thing. Sometimes in the past, what I used to do, I take some of these things out and I heat it up, and I apply to this one. But now we have different type of sealant, and I don't have to reuse this one. But as you can see, Motorola factory try to apply some engineering suggestion, which they failed at doing it. This one is coming from specialty RTV syringe or pump. I use that one at Honeywell, that style. Or maybe they have a different system to apply this one. You can melt it and you can expand it, but the way they've done it is no waterproofing these parts. It's just like sitting on top. You see, that's no waterproofing. I mean, maybe some pins might get some protection, but as you can see on the marks, it's a cheap job done by the manufacturer kids. They hire young people who are acting like robots in the factory. They don't have to have brain, and they don't really care or know what they are doing. So they are shown, you do this grouping here, and they just follow like robots. But because they don't understand the idea behind, the reason behind doing this, they just do a crappy job so they can get home 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:30. I'm out of here. So this is not a correct way to apply this material. It's just a show. So that's the content, the guts, the intestines of the CP200 and CP200D battery charger, gang charger. Is not the newest model. You can repair it by yourself. You don't need to know electronics. If it has water damage, you can spend some time and take it apart and clean it up. And also in the pocket adapters, in the battery adapters, there are 2 screws at the bottom. You can use a Torx screwdriver, remove those, and they are 1 PC board in each pocket. You should inspect that one. You should inspect it because likely you get corrosion there. So that's it. It's not a professional video. It's nothing fancy here. No music, no artifacts, nothing. It's just let's say from a life of a radio healer. Radio healer. See you later. Bye bye.